Still putting the finishing touches on this setup. Bear with me now. Let's crop that. I'm new to the whole camera thing. I think today, I don't know. I probably should play with the twin stick, huh? I don't know. I'm not really set up right now for it. This room is a mess. I think I'm gonna stick with the pad today. I'm using the see this? The multi controller. I think I'll go with that. You know, it's nice to try a variety. There's nothing wrong with that. If you do want to see a full playthrough of twin sticks, you can do so. The Shiro Show, where we've been debuting each of these navigators for the bulk/English project. They finally busted out the twin stick this past Friday and did a playthrough with the same character I'm about to show, which is Lira Hart. We had Patrick at the helm this time, and he did a great job. He actually cleared the game. I think that was the first time we've seen the game all the way through on the Shiro Show. So that's pretty cool. Make sure Twitter knows what's going on here. But yeah, and apart from that, I also did a full playthrough on when we debuted Lira Hart. Sorry, Lyra Savage. Today's Lira Hart. When we debuted Lyra Savage, and that's up on my YouTube channel, which is I don't know. If you search bulk/lacquerware, you'll probably find it. Or, actually, you know what? I'll be a good streamer. I'll put that YouTube link in the chat. It's also in my Twitch Twitch archive, so you can watch it here or there. But I will get that link so that it's documented. Yeah, that's the one. Throw that in the chat if you want to see a twin stick playthrough. I did, and I that was actually the debut of my webcam also, because the idea was to show the stick in action. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna tag some people on Twitter and ask them to please appreciated. Dan, tag Burnt Ends, Shiro guys, bulk/Twitter account that just existed independently of our efforts. Nothing to do with us, but I appreciate that there's a bulk/fan out there strong enough to make their own bulk/Twitter account. I don't know who else to add. I'm just gonna tweet deployed. Okay, we're bulk/ing. I've been trying to do more afternoon streams because it seems like more people are able to tune in, for one thing. It's tricky because I'm a freelancer and my work schedule. I got a new client, so it can be a little hard to predict. I have a bit of a lull in workload so far this week. That could change at any time, but I thought I'd slip one in. I'm still going to stream tonight as well. Okay. Quick recap of some of the menu stuff. So you've got config, that's your settings menu. I've been playing on normal most of the time. There's also easy and hard. It affects, what does it affect? I think the main thing is certain enemies are added or subtracted. Now with the controller, it's still not very pretty, but this fourth one, so there's A, B, and C. B apparently being the least popular. It's the weirdest one. It's the one. B is where depending on whether you're in walker or flight mode, I guess they call it robot and plane, the controls change. A is more like a modern shooter where you walk forward, back, and strafe left and right with the D-pad, and then rotate with the shoulder buttons. And then C is more like I guess like a flight sim where you go forward and back, and then rotate with the D-pad, and then strafe with the shoulder buttons. Or if you played like Siphon Filter back in the day, it's like that. And then this one that's just marked 0 for now. This is the twin stick setting, and this is a hack. Night of Dragon did all of this. If you're at all into the Saturn hacks or fan translation scene, you've probably heard of Night of Dragon by now, but he's been helping us out a lot with this project. He discovered that there was a secret hidden fourth controller layout already in the game, just waiting for someone to add twin stick support. So he did that, and now it's in there. But again, I'm not using the twin stick this time. You'll have to check out the Lyra playthrough. Then you've got visual bonuses you unlock as you go. Each time you beat the game, you get a visual bonus for the Navigator who's accompanying you at the time that you finish the game. So they each have 3, and the one you get is based on how well you did in the playthrough. So the better you did, the more, I don't know, scandalous. They're not that scandalous. This is like for teens, so anyway. And then you've got the voice test, which has actually been really useful for us in testing the game. That's Lyra you're hearing, played by Rachel Lee, aka Rachel. I guess I don't have Lyra yet. Luckily, she's one of the first navigator. She's a second stage navigator, so I can get her right off the bat. And I will do that right now. I guess I can... Okay, here. We can recap. So last time we used Lyra. So we have her unlocked because I beat the game with her. And then before that we did Rupia. I used to have everyone, but my Saturn battery, which holds all the save data, died.
Choose a stage, Corporal.
Oh, okay. So we want to go to stage 2 for Lyra.
Balls to the wall,
All right.
pilot. 1 o'clock.
Interesting. Huh. Seem to be having... Oh, shoot. Did I did I pick the twin stick layout? Derp. All right. Well, no harm done. There's a soft reset. What's up, Lucky? How are you, sir? Okay, I like Type A. Type A feels the most modern. And I think of myself as very modern with my Sega Saturn. Oh, thank you. I presume you're looking sharp as well. Okay, Lyra.
Wise decision.
Let's try this again.
Choose a stage, Corporal.
Doing better, good. I'm glad. Did you have a restful weekend? Are weekends more or less restful for you? I feel like they would be more.
Balls to the wall, pilot.
Because you have a
Forward, 12 o'clock.
co-pilot, as it were. Alright, so here's how you get Lyra. For those keeping track. You gotta make a beeline. You don't have to make a beeline, but if you want, make a beeline for there's like a stadium dome thing. And this is where Lyra is supposed to be performing a gig because she's a pop star. Pop idol. I wasn't sure if pop idol is really a term in the Western world, so I tried to avoid it. It lists her occupation in her profile screen. It just says idol, and I'm like, that seems a little left of correct in English. She's not a golden calf. Okay.
Shield recovered.
Give a girl a lift to blow. Got big plans coming up.
Yay. So yeah, once you find the giant stadium, which is the biggest structure on the map, just look around it for the miss pickup. They're labeled miss.
Looks like left.
You haven't decided.
There.
'Cause it's case by case. I guess it would depend entirely on like what kind of outings you have planned. Maybe not entirely, but.
To the right, maybe.
So this is Erin Leaf playing Lira Hart, and I've said this before. She did a fantastic job. She's one of the first navigators we cast, even though she's one of the last ones we recorded, just because it was hard to like synchronize our schedules. But
To the right, maybe.
I wasn't able to join the Shiro show last Friday, but I left a note, and what I said then,
Isn't that
and just to repeat, is that
that way? 3. Shield recovered.
to me it was important that Lyra be funny,
Isn't that
and not just shrill and annoying.
Isn't that it up
Because she's sort of the goofy one, or there's a couple goofy ones, but she's one of the goofy ones, and her whole shtick is that she's like kind of an inept navigator because she's not in the military. She's just like a teen pop idol that you scoop up.
That way? 2. Shield recovered.
So she's just like, she's just there, and she needs a ride, and you get her.
Around here.
And that's true of Rupia also, one of the other navigators. She's a thief, but Rupia is like cunning, you know. Lyra's not cunning,
Shield recovered.
and she's a kid, so she's like a teenager. So there's like you hear it in her directions. Most of the other navigators give pretty straightforward directions. They say forward,
We're right near the
forward,
target.
back, left, and right. She doesn't say forward.
Isn't that
She says,
it up
"Isn't
there?
that it up there?"
It should be around
She doesn't say
here.
back. She says it should be around here, and then right
To the right, maybe.
to the right, maybe.
Looks like left.
She's very unsure, and that continues when you level her up and her navigation changes. Everyone else does like the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Hers are more like, you know, no, more to the left. I said left. It's like that kind of thing. It's very vague.
What a blast! That way, 1. Shield recovered.
It's hard to enjoy violent video games when the other 3 folks in the family either can't play them or aren't into them. One of my preferred weekend activities. Ah. So does that mean it's easier on weekdays?
Isn't that it up there? Isn't that it up there?
Because you're slightly less outnumbered?
Isn't that it up there? To the right, maybe. To the right, maybe.
Oops. And, you know, I can't recall. I should have looked this up.
There?
I can't remember what her...
We're right near the target. Isn't that it up there?
every navigator has different conditions that allow them to level up quicker, and they're secret. So the idea is you're supposed to experiment. And, I don't know. I think it's sort of one of the more, like, half-baked concepts in the game, because you're supposed to experiment, but there's no real explicit validation when you get it right.
Something big just showed up.
You just have to get a general sense of like, oh, it seems like she leveled up faster this time, but that could be any number of factors, right? There's a website that someone in Japan made where they
It should be around
articulate each of the secret conditions for leveling up the navigators. I don't have it in front of me. I have it bookmarked, but it's on my MacBook, and I don't have my MacBook open right now.
here. Looks like left.
If only when my coworkers get their other jobs, though.
Looks like
Yeah, then it'll be time for a bit of the
It
ultra
should be
violence.
around here. It should be around here. To the right, maybe. Isn't that it up there? It should be around here.
But yeah, anyway, I was saying, like, it was important to me that Lyra be funny, and Erin did really crack me up with her audition. She had this line.
Looks like
Maybe I can show that off in the next level, but where she goes, "I don't wanna die," I just thought the delivery was perfect. And there were a few lines like that where I just thought like the energy was just right. You know, it wasn't too piercing. It felt like it was still true to the character, but it was like a mix of like funny and endearing, and like a lot of her, you know, less screamy lines were also. I just thought like there was like something in there that felt like she wasn't just a caricature. And it just gave me a good feeling. So it was a pretty. There wasn't much deliberation once we found Eren. And then yeah, just nailing down a time to record was the hard part. But we did it. Let's see. Do my bookmarks carry over? No, they don't. Okay. I was gonna say maybe Chrome like sends my info across computers. No such luck. Okay, let's okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll show you some more of her dialogue by I'm just gonna take a death, cause you can continue. But when you continue, you have to do the whole stage you're on over again. So
Off we go! Isn't that it up there?
quick look at Leone, who we've shown in the past.
Leone Road, Sergeant, first class.
Oh.
I'm here to help, Chris.
Oh, do we have a little glitch there? Might need to take a look at that. That's new. That's played by Edo Bean, who also did a fantastic job.
Off we go! Isn't that it
Okay,
up
so
there?
here's
Holy moly! To the right, maybe? Fire blaster!
what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take some hits. When you get down to like the halfway point, each time you get hit, she'll start saying something afterward. Usually it's either a word of encouragement or a word of discouragement, like lambasting you for taking so many hits. Like that.
You can do it!
Aww.
You stupid! To the right, maybe? Isn't that it up there?
That was one of the improv lines. I don't know if everyone remembers that, but I had written in some like placeholder insults, and I said, go ahead and play with it. And she had one where she kind of like stumbled over her words, but it sounded like she was like choking on her own rage. You're stupid! And I had her do it again, and that was the retake.
You're stupid! You can do it! I want to go home. You're stupid! I want to go home. You're stupid! You're stupid! I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
That's the line. Let's hear her countdown.
Hey, wake up! What are we gonna do now? You mean I'm on my own? Do you know who I am? Unbelievable! Yay! Lucky us!
All right. So once again, this time I'll actually play it.
Gotta take a
I think after we have all the navigators in, we'll have to do another round of QA to make sure we didn't break any stuff when we added new stuff. Cause like that, actually, hold on. Let's see if that happens again.
Leone Road, Sergeant, first class reporting. I'm here to help.
That time it didn't happen, so who knows?
Off we go! Isn't that it
I
up
mean,
there?
it's possible some of these bugs are legacy issues from the original game. Because although I've played through this game like 25 times now, most of those times are with a hacked version. But who knows? Please let me know if the audio balance is not good, please. If you can't hear Aaron Lyra. If you can't hear me. If you can hear me but don't like that. Alright, alright. Whoop, whoop. Yeet.
Isn't that it up there? Looks like left. To the right, maybe. Whoa! What a blast! At least three.
I think
Shield recovered.
from a
Isn't that it up there?
from a technical, I don't know, from an audio design standpoint, because we're not doing this from the ground up, but trying to
Isn't that it up
like
there?
squat our audio in the slots that have already been provided by the Japanese version.
Holy
The
moly!
hardest,
Whoa! What a blast! At least two.
the hardest part
I could get
for me
used to this.
was that part, the thing she just did, where after you break a target, after you destroy a target, the navigator says something to the effect of that leaves, and then the number of targets left.
Isn't that it up there?
It's a little different for each navigator,
Holy moly!
but because of the way it works, it's two sound bites played back to back, and the second one actually interrupts part of the first one. And every audio file has like a buffer of silence, and in general, as long as your English sound file is smaller than that Japanese file, including the buffer of silence, you're golden. But because the that leaves blank sound bites combo, it like cancels part of the second sound bite cancels part of the first one. Your English soundbite actually has to be shorter. It has to be super short. And Japanese tends to be a very efficient language, syllabically, or I don't know. So you have very short Japanese line. Nokori means the remaining. Nokori, and then the number. So, and the problem with that leaves is people have a tendency to draw out the v and the z. These are, I forget what you call these in linguistics, in those types of sounds, but they can be drawn out indefinitely. You can go indefinitely, not like a K. Like a K is a percussive sound, right? You can't elongate a K, but you can elongate a V and an S. So even when people are trying to be fast, they have a tendency to draw out those sounds. That leaves. So we had to do a lot of post-editing on some of those. That leaves, and use a fade-out effect on the S, or I guess it's a Z sound. That leaves,
Isn't that it up there?
and really make sure, like really scrunch it in to make sure it fit.
Looks like left.
I think it came out alright. May want to make the game audio a pinch louder. All right. I will err on the side of doing that.
Looks like left. Go! Looks like left. I could get used to this.
Hey. Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
Gotta pick a stage.
We did a great job casting. Thank you. You know, I mean, it's funny because
Isn't that
okay, let's
it
pop
there?
over and check out Dark Misty's Mythical Flare real quick.
To the right, maybe.
It's fun that now we have so many navigators implemented that we can do this.
How do you do? I am Mythical Flare. Might I trouble you to tag along?
That's played by Dark Misty. She was the first navigator we recorded, and she was fantastic. She really helped us figure out what we were doing. and find our footing with the project overall. Yeah, you know, it's interesting because
It should be around
we
here.
didn't think we would have much of a pool to choose from because it's just it was a volunteer gig
It should
for
be
a
around
super
here.
super obscure game
Shield recovered.
and from like an unproven team. That's not entirely true.
SEA blaster.
At the time we started casting, it was Dan, Momphis, and me. And Dan and Momphis had been involved in a couple projects, but none with. I mean, this like fan dubbing thing is like barely even a thing. So in that sense, it was unproven.
Holy moly!
And even when Burnt Ends came along and sort of took on the recruitment aspect, I just feel like this could have easily been not a very popular thing to sign up for just because it's weird.
SEA blaster. It should be around
But
here.
we had a really good response, and I think it's just a lot of luck finding the people we needed. And then, you know, a lot of magic happened during the
Right near the target.
recording sessions as well, so
Looks like left
yeah, very happy with
to the right.
our casting.
Looks like left
The Anthrax, what's up?
to the right maybe.
Yeah, it feels like a real internet triumph story. The internet is not always the most wholesome place,
Should be around here.
not always the most helpful place, but
Isn't that it up there?
it can be a powerful
Right near
tool,
the target.
and
Isn't that it up there? Shield recovered.
has the power to enrich lives. I still believe that.
It should be around here. Shield recovered.
Despite everything.
Isn't that it up there? SEA blaster.
Alright, man, I'm doing
Looks like
epically bad right now. I didn't take it serious.
shield recovered. Isn't
We
that
might
it
not
up
make
there?
it, guys. We usually do better than this.
Right near the target. Isn't that it up there?
In fact, last time, was that on the stream? I did like phenomenally well. Like the ship barely got hit at all, but that's, well, we did it. All's well that ends well.
Something big just showed up. What do we
Feels like a
do?
quality anime dub from the late 90s. Thanks. There were not a lot of those, but it's funny how many people have said that it feels like a 90s anime. I think that's just
Looks like
a
left.
side effect of
Isn't that it up there?
it being a 90s game.
To the right.
Like it's a 90s anime game.
Isn't that it up there?
Oh,
Looks like left.
I feel we should name the bosses.
Isn't that it up there?
What do you think of Dynamite Duke for this guy?
Isn't that it up there?
Or Balthazar?
I could get used to this. Gotta pick a stage.
Stage 4, the problem stage. This is one of my faves. I don't find it that bad.
Off we go. Isn't that it up there? Isn't that it up there?
I like that it's a little something different.
We're right near the
Or
target.
something a little different.
Isn't that
It's a little something a little
That's
different.
to do it, right? That way. 3. Shield recovered. Shield recovered. Shield recovered. Shield recovered.
Oh yeah.
Looks like left.
We're rolling in shield recoveries.
Isn't that it up there? Isn't that it up there? Isn't that?
Yo, we got this, Dan.
Isn't that it up there? It should be around here.
This is not the first
Isn't
slash
that it
I've
up
bulked.
there? Isn't that it up there?
Just translating that instruction booklet last night.
Looks like left. Holy moly!
Just had the thought all over again, like, and they really don't explain why it's called bulk slash. They're just like,
Isn't that it up there?
they set the stage and they're like, their operation was dubbed Bulk slash. Like, but why? Nothing you just said like
That it up there?
sheds any light on why it's called that.
That it up
Just
there?
a weird conclusive sentence to that paragraph.
We're right near the target. Isn't that should do it, right? That means one. Holy moly! Isn't that
You're
it up
off,
there?
Lucky. All right.
Isn't
Catch
that
you
it
later,
up
dude.
there?
Thanks for popping in.
Isn't that it up there? 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 Isn't that it up
Do it.
there? We're right near the target.
Hey, see? Pizza cake.
Do it, right? Holy moly!
No biggie. Oh. How's everyone else doing today? We having a Monday? Or we having a Monday? I'm having a Monday. Went for a little jog.
Isn't that it up there?
Looked up potential gift ideas for my dad's birthday.
Isn't that it up there? Looks like ah! It should be around here. Isn't that it
He's
up
turning
there?
80.
It should be around here. It should be around here.
It's pretty up there.
Isn't
Whoa.
that it up there? Looks like left.
So yeah, it's all about the flybys, the leisurely flybys.
To the right, maybe?
You have to get enough distance to be able to comfortably do a 180
It should be around here. It should be
and then
around here.
line up the shot. Oh God, where am I? You have to, yeah, enough distance to comfortably do a 180 and still have time to line up the shot
To the right, maybe?
at the correct body part. And of course, you can adjust your speed,
Looks like
which
left.
helps.
Looks like left. Isn't that it up there? Looks like left.
And the ship, like, it's not aggressive,
Looks like left.
especially if you're not in front of it.
To the right, maybe?
God! Sometimes you end up in front of it, though.
Isn't that it up there? It should be around here.
Good.
Looks like
Oot.
left. I could get used to this.
If you ask me, the next level is harder. It's a labyrinth. It has two bosses. It has those disc spitting things, which are like super aggressive. And you're in confined quarters, so you gotta, I don't know. You've got a lot less space to dodge. And your flight mode is mostly useless. Then again, I guess your walker is mostly useless in
Looks
stage
like
4.
left.
Nevertheless,
It should be around here. Fire blaster. Isn't that it up there?
you think they does the meter charge faster when you level up the navigators? I swear. Sometimes it feels like it charges faster than it's charging now. And I'm not talking about Kina.
Holy moly! It should be around here.
This feels slow to me.
Shield recovered. Looks like left.
What?
To the right, maybe? Finders keepers. At least 4. Fire blaster.
Oh,
Isn't that it up there? We're right near the target. To the right, maybe? Holy moly! Kablamo! Shield
Not every day I get a kablamo out of her. Oh god. That was another one where we tried a bunch of different iterations of the line. It's from Tamaya, which is like... I had to look that up. I didn't know that word, but apparently this is a thing people shout when fireworks are happening, and it goes back like centuries. Tamaya meaning like fireworks shop, something like that, like a traditional style. I guess where they make the cherry bombs back in the day. So there's a bit of culture there. So, you know, we just tried to think of different words you might shout when you're watching big explosions. Tried kablamo, kablooey, boom shakalaka. I know there were other ones. I feel like... Oh, yeah, didn't you... Wait, no, what was that? Dan, you definitely suggested one. That was on there. It's slipping my mind.
To the right, maybe? We're right near the target. Isn't that it up there? Holy moly!
Oh, we're good.
Shield recovered.
Ugh. Dang it. Yippee-ki-yay, that was it, yeah.
Find your skeet berries. That way. One.
Did they add that to Die Hard Arcade when they when they acquired the Die Hard license? Does he ever say Yippee-ki-yay in that? I only have Dynamite Deca. He says it constantly in Die Hard Trilogy.
Holy moly! Shield recovered.
Man. Still doing that? Haven't played that one. Oh man, Die Hard Arcade is fantastic. Well, I mean, Dynamite Deca. I used to go to the arcade once in a while. I didn't go to a lot as a kid, but when I was like 11, an arcade opened up pretty close to my place, and it became like a popular
Holy moly!
birthday party spot for like my friends. And they had Die Hard Arcade, and you know, I usually only had like $5, so you know, I was never that into the arcade because usually you die right up like really fast, and then I only had like a couple bucks, so you get to play like maybe 10 minutes worth of games. But I would always make a beeline for Die Hard Arcade. I just loved the way it felt. I thought you had so many options. It was like a beat 'em up. It was like it felt like the evolution of the beat 'em up, which it was. But you just had all these options. I remember I thought it was really cool that instead of beating a guy to death, you could arrest them. And then like being able to use guns and stuff. And that was actually the first game that I can think of that had QTEs. I mean, I guess a lot of those FMV games did, but maybe just the first game I played.
Isn't that it up there? Isn't that it up there?
It's still going? Dude.
That's a wrap. What?
It's a hard game, though. It's definitely still a quarter muncher, you know?
Isn't that it up there? Holy moly!
Dang!
Go!
I wish I knew how to do that consistently.
I can get used to this.
Okay. We are moving right along. This might be a short stream. That's okay. That's okay, because I'll be back at 8.
Up we go! Isn't that it up there?
I do want to level her up, though,
We're right near the target.
and
Isn't
show
that
some
it
of
up
her
there? Isn't that it up
higher
there?
level VO.
Looks like left.
Whoa.
We're right near the target. Isn't that
What's up, Segatas? Thanks for that follow.
Isn't that it up there? It should be around here.
It's your favorite... So wait, did I... Oh, yeah, I got you. This is your favorite Saturn game? Well, then you are in the right place.
It should be around here.
I've been doing playthrough streams of this game like every few weeks as we debut new navigators for the
Holy
English
moly.
version of the game that we
We're
are
right near the target.
making
Isn't
currently.
that it up there?
Gotten too good at bulk slash. I suppose it was inevitable.
To the right, maybe? Looks like left.
So what's your favorite Saturn game? I also feel that way. How, like, what's your experience with the game? Have you had it for a while?
Looks like left.
Tell me about it. I got it back in like
To the right.
I want to say 2008. When I lived in Japan for a few years, like 4 years, and got super into the Saturn because back then
To the right.
it was a relatively affordable way to game. Bulk Slash was like there were a lot of games that were under $5 on the Saturn back then. Bulk Slash was probably around 50, and it didn't come with a manual.
It should be around here. Isn't that it up there?
But I had to have it after looking at the back of the box. I was like, man, it looks so vibrant, and like there were not a lot of 3D games on the Saturn, so and a lot of them were crap.
Holy moly.
So when you saw one that looked good, it was like extra exciting to me.
We're right near the target.
Mecha Game Fanboy bought this 3 to 4 years ago and felt like a protozoa to me. A protozoa.
Isn't that it up there?
Oh.
Isn't that it up there?
I don't even remember what those are, but
Looks like
yeah, I could see that.
Isn't that it up there? Looks like left.
Just because it's so fast paced.
Isn't that it up there?
And well, and you have that 360-degree motion in 3D. So yeah, in a way it is like that. To me, I always thought of it the other way around. I always thought of it as an evolution of Ranger X on the Genesis, if you've heard of that.
Looks like
If you're a Mecha fanboy, you must have heard of Ranger X at some point, right? Yeah, there we go.
Around here.
Yeah, Ranger X is another one of my faves.
Shield recovered. Isn't that it up there?
And that's a good point, though. I feel like so I try to think of like how to like pitch this game to people, like how to sell people on this game. I do think that you could probably say if you like Zone of the Enders, there's a fair chance you'll like this. So you like the Saturn, you like mech games. Have you played the Gundam Side Story trilogy on the Saturn? Because those are another one of my faves,
Holy moly.
and I'm always trying to evangelize it.
To the right. I could get used to this.
There's it's 3 games that are very short, so I think cumulatively they're basically one game.
Isn't that it up there?
And luckily they're still like fairly low cost for Saturn. And the second and third games in the trilogy are compatible with the twin stick, and they're actually a ton of fun with the twin stick. I think they're the most fun twin stick experience, except that part of this localization patch we're doing includes adding twin stick support, thanks to Night of Dragon. So this game will support it already does. It's already in there. But when we release the patch, everyone will be able to enjoy
Looks like left.
Bulk Slash with their snazzy virtual on peripheral.
Isn't that it up there?
And they're recently getting into Gundam games, so Gundam Breaker 3 and VS plus that online MMO one. Now, see, like I'm not into Gundam games. I'm like super into Saturn. So I was just like getting any like Saturn action game I would pick up if I could afford it. So that's sort of my angle, is like even if you're not into Gundam, those are just fun games. Doing some Macross games and love that Vita. I always wanted that. There were like some PSP ones and then a Vita one. Those look so good. I have the PS2 one, which I think is sort of in the same vein. Those are good. Thanks to Night of Dragons' dearly departed SSD that got zapped in a storm. That sucks. I've just been, because we just moved, I'm like setting up my office and game room and like trying to figure out like my electrical situation. We don't have a lot of outlets, so I keep buying power strips and surge protectors, and every time I get a surge protector, I'm like, is this really worth the extra money, or is this just like does that really happen? But I guess so. I guess it does. A recent game I love that feels like a cross between Armored Core and Zoe is Daemon X Machina. Yeah, I actually picked that up. I didn't get very far, but I am keen to try it out some more. I think I was longing for a co-op buddy. It's cool though. It's really stylish. It feels like, yeah, I think that's a good description actually, because it's certainly less hardcore hard and like demanding than Armored Core, but it's got all that customization. Yeah, it feels like Armored Core Light or something. So have you been following this translation project at all, or did you just like stumble upon this channel today? There can't be a lot of people streaming Bulk Slash on Twitch right now. 4:20 on a Monday. Director also did AC3 on PS2. Oh, no way! That's like... isn't that one of the more highly regarded Armored Cores? Like, I feel like a lot of fans seem to like Silent Line the best. That's the one I have. I haven't gotten anywhere in it, but it seemed like people were so into Silent Line I had to check it out. Oh, you found this on Twitter. Oh, great. The system works. Well, I appreciate you being here. It's always exciting to to meet another person who already knows about Bulk Slash, and especially when it's when they agree that it's the best Saturn game, or at least their favorite. Oop. My favorite is 4 Answer. I love White Glint. What is White Glint? I've never even heard of that one. I feel like every time I start talking about Armored Core, I learn about a new Armored Core game. 4 Answer I knew about. I think my friend just played that on the stream and he struggled.
Fire blaster.
Oh, it's a mech in 4. Okay, that makes more sense. False alarm then. Oh, right. Nope. Alright. Sometimes I'm lucky. Oh, she leveled up. She's calling out the weapons now. Whoa! Whoop! Alright, we're okay, we're in the zone. Oh, he's not dead though.
I can get used to this.
Whoop!
Lasers!
Oh God. Going south and fast. Okay. We can still do this. This is salvageable.
Shield recovered.
Jeff T. Oh god. Slash White Glant and Lanos are my favorite mecha design. Ah.
Shield recovered.
So you must be a fan of Assault Suits Lanos 2, also on the Saturn, huh?
Fire blaster.
There had been an English patch in the works for that.
Holy moly.
Does anyone know what's going on with that? I feel like that would be
Holy moly.
a good one. I don't know what it's. Thanks, Dan. Huge fan of the series and the PS4 remake. Yeah, that remake was cool. I picked that up. All right, we can hear this.
Don't get in my
The
way.
one
Please.
Reason. Do
moment
you
of true
realize
drama
what
in the
you're about
game.
to do?
Yes, of course I do. Chris, you know what we've been through. The persecution that's been wrought upon the people of Blau, including me. If we're ever to change this world, we need a leader with strong ideals and a chosen people to rule at his side.
You're wrong, Reason. Creating a better society takes mutual respect and an ongoing drive toward a higher moral standard.
If that had worked, we wouldn't be here right now. This is a holy war. It's going to change everything.
A holy war? This? Taking millions of people hostage and using fear to get what you want? What you're doing is terrorism, plain and simple.
Stop it! Why won't you understand? Why would you stand against me? Aren't you the Chris I grew up with?
Sure am. And you're Reason Lavia. Don't forget that. The same Reason Lavia who loved sitting in the shade of that old oak tree and reading me poetry. The kind of person who would never do this.
Yes. I am Reason Lavia. Acting commander of the Gardner Army's 1st Special Air
This will be on
Squadron.
Repro Disc. I would buy that.
Lieutenant Reason
I recently
Lavia.
bought an English version of
Sworn enemy to your kind.
Frame Gride on
Reason.
Dreamcast. So we, as the makers of the translation patch, have no plans to do a repro. We have tried to adhere to a strict policy of not having any money exchanging hands over this project. We don't want to profit from this in any way. Will someone make a repro of this? I don't know. I think only time will tell. It seems likely, but that's not our role in this project. In fact, that's not part of this project, so that would have to be its own separate thing from someone who does that. If you know repro people,
I want to go home.
well, I don't know. I'm trying to not get involved in that scene. I mean, I do think, like, no one should have to pay $150 to play Bulk Slash, and that was never the intent of the creators of Bulk Slash, you know. So like, it's kind of a catch-22, right? Like, you don't want to like infringe on other people's property for profit. But at the same time, these repro guys do provide us like a service, like they're filling a void, right? Like if they want to re-release and do an official localization of Bulk Slash, then I would support that ish day one. Oh, oh god, this does not look good. Oh, poor Lyra. Yes! Wow, down to the wire.
Chris.
It's over.
No, when I say
Stand aside now,
$150,
I
well, hold on, I'll let this play out.
just wanted to do something to ease all the suffering, all the frustration of the people of Blau.
At this very moment, 3 billion lives hang in the balance. Whatever you're after, You won't achieve it by going down in history as an agent of genocide.
Don't you think I realize that? I couldn't.
Reason!
And there she goes. Yeah, I'm saying that an actual copy of this game now, yeah, it's now up to like $150. The Saturn market in particular is getting out of control. And that sucks, because these games shouldn't be buried or only accessible to the rich. I think it's better to, continue to make them accessible somehow. Whether it's okay to profit off that or not, that's a.
Gee, it's all so sad. I could write a song about this, but I don't think it would bring a smile to a single face.
Poor Lyra. Yeah, it's like it's tricky. Oh god, we got a bot. How do we nuke bots now? Okay.
With the threat of the Spätfest extinguished, the United Planetary Federation Army broke their silence and
Wata
sprang
making
to
things
action,
worse. What's
dispatching
Wata?
what remained of Gardner's forces. Alois Gardner was discovered following a suicide attempt in his private quarters. While
Anyway, it's hard to
his
say. Like,
trusted
I don't think
confidant,
anyone should come
was
down on
shot
those
dead by
repro people.
Federation Special Unit.
Because it is cool to some
Thus
of
ended
them
the
offer really
ambitions
cool
of one Alois
stuff that's
Gardner.
like they're performing a service that requires skilled labor. It's just it doesn't have that stamp of approval.
Next time you pick on Margaret, there will be
But
trouble.
I think it's like this
I'm telling
gray
my
area
dad
where it's
on
like,
you.
oh, don't go. Like no one
You're not
benefits
gonna
from going
play with
after
you
them.
anymore.
But I think we've just been very
If
wary of
anyone picks on you, I'll always come to
crossing
your
a
rescue
legal
with-
line.
I swear it.
Oh, this music is. Oh, sorry, I forgot this was in the
that
build.
case, I read you all the poetry.
Everything you're
you
seeing right now is placeholder. The music, the VO. This was all just to make a point that this is FF7 music. Good ear. We on the last stream on the Shiro show where we debuted this Navigator. This was one of the elements we wanted to show, which is to make the point that we're working on dubbing the FMVs, but it entails re-recording music from scratch, and we have musicians that are doing that. They've learned these songs by ear and are re-recording them to sound as close to identical as possible, so that we can then combine them with our English VO. Because the original game, the VO, the sound effects, and the music are all just one audio track, so there was no way to overdub it. Oh, here's Lyra's ending.
そうよあれあれちょっとマイク借りるわよ皆さんお待たせみんなのアイドルリラハートよみんな集まれちょっとやりすぎじゃないかちょっとあんたリラを独り占めはないんじゃないそんなごめんねでも仕方ないのだって私は今世紀最大のアイドルだもん
Teehee. So yeah, the FMVs will be dubbed. It's a process though, and man, that was decent. Let's see if we can get Lyra up to level 3. Aw, I haven't seen that one before.
What name do you go by? That's so cool!
That era of game music was amazing. Same with the anime style and detail I miss. What a time to be alive that was. Yeah, the PS1 Saturn era. What an exciting time for video games. I think that was what made me go from being casually into games to like it was like a main hobby. Stuff like Resident Evil that were like really effectively eliciting a more complex emotional response than just this is fun or this is frustrating, you know? Like that felt new. Being like feeling fear and desperation. I mean, now it's funny because those games, like they're pretty cornball, but like even now when I play those games, there's something like the acting is corny, but I do think that they still did a good job with atmosphere. So there's still something about them that works. In my opinion, anyway. I don't know if everyone would feel that way, but. So Lyra's currently at level 2. And we want her to get up to level 3. I think that was the first visual bonus I ever saw when I beat Bulk Slash a year or two ago. Oh man! So Lyra was the first one you cleared it with?
Holy moly! Isn't that it up there? Kablamo!
Is she your fave, or is that just happenstance? I thought you were a Lyra guy. Did I make that up?
That leaves 4. Shield recovered. Isn't that it up there?
It'll be interesting to see, among people who already know the game, if playing it in English will change which navigators they like. I don't know if that would be a good thing or bad thing. I think it would just be interesting.
Right near the target. Looks like left.
Woohoo.
We crashed! Whoa! What a blast!
Sometimes go in my retro gaming room, play some Saturn or other old systems, and read old gaming mags while listening to Saturn OSTs on the Discman. You're living the life! That's not too far off from the life I live. I found my old Walkman from when I was a kid, and I'm like, I don't have any tapes anymore. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I must have it. It was at my parents' house, so I brought it here, and now it's just sitting there. Maybe I'll get some tapes. I have fond memories of mowing the lawn while blasting that thing at full volume, because it was the only way to hear anything. And I was marveling. When we moved, I got a new lawnmower, and now they have these battery-powered ones that are like 1/10 as noisy as a gas mower. So I like don't have to destroy my eardrums listening to music anymore. I'm like, man, it's the future.
We're right near the target. Isn't that it up? Yeah! They got bombs. To the right, maybe? Holy moly! Whoa! What a blast! That leaves 1. Shield recovered.
God, I love this stage's music. Yeah.
To the right, maybe?
Great music throughout this game.
Looks like left.
Just happenstance. First time I played, I didn't know where Lyra was or that she existed. She is really hard to find. I think she's the hardest one to find. Very off the beaten path.
Holy moly!
Not counting Kina, of course.
To the right, maybe? Holy moly!
What's up, Stu Stap?
What a blast!
Do I have that right?
Shield recovered.
So excited to finally play this game. Good. Yeah. I'm excited for you. I hope that it lives up. Kids won't understand the joy of waking up on a Saturday morning hearing a lawnmower in the distance then. We're just like,
Isn't that it up there?
well, I don't know. I guess you can still hear electric mowers
Holy moly!
just from less of a distance. What they won't understand is waking up on a Saturday morning and running downstairs to watch cartoons.
Looks like left.
Saturday morning cartoons are dead,
Holy moly!
last I heard.
Isn't that it up there?
Oh, let's see if we can get the energy wave. I like her reaction to the energy wave.
Isn't that it up there? Ah! I'm scared!
Oh, let's get her a present.
I could get used to this.
TMNT and Thundercats were my faves in the 80s. My brothers and I in the 80s, I was a little tot in the 80s, but I remember watching Silverhawks, and we had the toys. The bad guy was named Monstar. Like a monster with a star-shaped head. He kind of looked like Satan.
Sky high! Isn't that it up there?
And then there was like an old Professor X kind of guy who had like bionic face or something.
Holy moly!
It was almost like a reskin of Thundercats though. It was very similar. I was all about that. You know what I liked? This was like early 90s, but Toxic Crusaders, you remember that? They made a children's cartoon based on the Toxic Avenger. Who approved that? How does that happen? I would love to know. Like, someone should like track down the people involved in making a Toxic Avengers children's show. That was my jam. I mean, I guess like gross out stuff was really big for like among boys in the early 90s. So they're like, yeah, there's like a gross out angle here, but we could also do like a Captain Planet thing. We could do like an edgier Captain Planet. And that's exactly what they did. Oh yeah, and the Ghostbusters. Yeah, that was my jam too. Love the Ghostbusters. A lot of R-rated stuff became kids' toys and cartoons and that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's always like, it's a lot of those. Yeah, like Freddy and Jason. They all had like some appeal to kids, especially young boys, I guess. And I guess that probably wasn't an accident. Because they're all weirdly akin to superheroes, aren't they? Just these larger-than-life, distinct figures with superpowers. And costumes. Oh, we got a raid coming in. What's up, For Slippy? Thank you for that raid. I guess I should keep going with this playthrough then. We just played through this once, and now I'm trying to level up Lyra to the maximum, which is level 3, so we can hear different dialogue out of her. I was a big Jason fan. I was a Michael Myers guy, but that was when I was a little older. I was an edgy tween, got into slasher movies. 80s and 90s had as many Saturday cartoons as we have reality shows these days. Yeah, it's pretty true. Can they make a children's version of the Great British Bake Off? I like the British Bake Off. I like what they did for reality TV. It's like, what if there was like no drama and it was just like a chill, like lawn where people are making delicious food? Easy bake, oven bake off. I mean, you could just do the same exact show with kids. Slightly more supervision over the
It should be around here.
blades and ovens and stuff, I guess. For Slippy, may I ask how you found out about this stream? Was it a Twitter find?
I could get used to this.
British Kitchen Nightmares is nice and none of the dumb drama. Sounds like there's drama. Nightmares. See, that's the thing is, like, reality TV is always so, like, they inject so much. I don't know. I don't know what to say besides drama. And British Bake Off is just like, it's like the antithesis to a nightmare. It's like a pleasant afternoon. People that mutually respect one another. Well, I hope that never changes. So they have no idea I've been following you for a while and will lurk every now and then, but oh! Well, thanks for the lurks. So, to catch anyone up who might not know, a small team of us have been doing a fan localization of this game, Bulk Slash, which is on the Sega Saturn. It's from 1997. It's only ever released in Japan, and it's the favorite Saturn game of both me and Segatas here. He was just saying to me. We've been working on this for about 6 months. The game features these navigators that help you out during the mission, and the picture-in-picture in the upper left there. And there's 7 of them. And they each have lots and lots of voiceover. So we're doing a full redub of the VO in English using volunteers from the community who just like random talented people that are doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. And today we're showing this navigator whose name is Lira Hart. She's played by a volunteer called Erin Leaf, L-E-F-E. I'm gonna grab this. And I think she did a dang good job.
It should be around here.
How are we doing? Oh god!
We're right near the target. Isn't that it up there? Shield recovered.
This is the most demanding level. I'm trying to look at the chat, but I'm scared.
To the right, maybe?
Scared I'm gonna get this ship destroyed.
What now? Fire blaster.
Hey.
Shield recovered. Looks like left.
As a person with ADD, US reality shows are training people to have ADD.
Looks like left.
Oh man. That and social media, I would imagine.
It should be around here.
This is an amazing project. VO sounds very professional. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, we
Looks like left.
some of the actors have some experience. Erin was saying she's never been voice directed before. This was her first time acting under someone else's direction. This project is my first time doing voice direction. And I'm just kind of making it up as I go. I've done a lot of translation, but never for video games. Been translating lots of odds and ends, books and manga and stuff since like 2006. And I used to work at Capcom, but not as a developer. I was a couple things. First, I was a bilingual liaison between the U.S. and Japanese offices, and then I was a community manager, and then I was a bilingual liaison again, and then I quit. Whoa. So I've been like around games a lot. Whoosh. We did, as community managers, we worked with the localization folks in Japan quite a bit, just to like do. We ran the blog, and we did like localization blogs about Ace Attorney with Janet. You may have seen Janet recently because the great Ace Attorney Chronicles just came out, and she's the mastermind behind that localization. But we used to do blogs with her, and then also a guy called Andrew Alfonso. Who's the Monster Hunter localization. I think he's the localization director. And he always had fascinating insight on how they localize those games. And I always wanted to like do that, but I always figured I missed the boat because I left Japan in 2010, and most localization seems to be either done there or in like SoCal, and I just couldn't be there. But you know, nowadays I think there is like there's a lot of freelancers who do it. But I'm also just like really enjoying this like fan project where we don't have any pressure, right? And like we get to work on whatever game we want. So this is kind of scratching that itch anyway. You know, Nihongo ga hai wakarimasu. Woof. It sounds like she's right out of that era of English translated anime. Man, it's funny. We get that comment so often. It sounds just like a 90s anime. Oh, you just bought the Ace Attorney Chronicles? I really want it. I'm not much of an Ace Attorney guy, but I love the Meiji era as a setting. And I love Professor Layton. And I liked the Layton crossover with Ace Attorney. So I feel like this might be a good new entry point for me. Is it cool? It looks cool. And I do like the localization looks like it's like not just good, but like possibly revolutionary, and I'm down to check that out. And I used to work with Janet, and she's just like a fantastic human being, so I'm down to check out her work. We worked together on Mega Man Legends 3, which was a... Anyone you came away from that project liking, you know is a likable person. Started learning Japanese and was recommended some channels. You must have been... Oh, yeah, that would make sense. So how long have you been learning Japanese? My friend Kitsune-san sent me. Oh. That name doesn't ring a bell, but it's... I don't know. I was on the Learning Japanese Discord a lot for a while. And it's possible people found me there. Oh, about a month. Oh, so you're just embarking on this journey. You're already typing in Japanese? That's cool. I think it was... I started learning Japanese in the year 2000. And I think it was years before I knew how to type Japanese. Of course, back then we all just used chisel on tablet, so... Right after Y2K Crisis blew over, I was like, now that we're not dead, I think I'll try and acquire a new skill. Invest in life again. Still bitter about MML3. Tell me about it.
Something big just showed up. What do we do?
X-Troopers was great though. Yeah, oh man. X-Troopers is real good. And I wish we'd gotten that one. If you can brave the Japanese, it's often it's on the eShop now and in Japan. I guess you need a Japanese 3DS. That's kind of a high barrier of entry, but if you have one, X-Troopers is often available on sale for like not a lot of money. And it's I want to say one of the best 3DS games. It's oh yeah, I guess that's the more accessible way to play it, huh? The PS3 version. I've heard that it's actually not as good, but I guess it depends how much of a stickler you are, because it has online co-op, which is a big boon. I've heard that for some reason the frame rate is worse on PS3, which is it's a real head scratcher. Physical doesn't go for that much. You know, I had it physical back in the day, and I got robbed. Like actually, my car was robbed. My 3DS, and all my games, my passport, a bunch of stuff I shouldn't have left in my car like an idiot. Got stolen. My laptop, tablet, 3DS, X-Troopers. I was young and foolish once. Good lord. Get it done. There we go. Look at that 3D model of the guard duel. Very cool. Yeah, it's like, it depends how much of a stickler you are. I've heard, so the 3DS one miraculously runs at 60 FPS. I've heard that the PS3 one is 30, but some people don't care. A lot, like most PS3 games run at 30 FPS. The real question is, have you played Lost Planet 2? Now there's a Lost Planet game. We were just streaming that on Thursday. That's, I think I've decided that's my favorite game in the world, ever. I'm not a competitive shooter guy, but the co-op campaign, I play through it every year, and my appreciation just grows every single time. There's so much cool stuff in that game. Whoa. Only one I refuse to play is 3. It's generic, yeah. I would say the thing about 3 is that, well, I don't know. Sometimes I go to bat for it because although it's a terrible, like it doesn't take the baton of the series, you know? It does not continue anything from 1 and 2 that, like, at least as a video game. Like, there's story stuff that, they kind of picked up the story from 1 for all those fans of the rich Lost Planet lore. But, like, it's a completely different game. But if you just look at it on its own terms, if you're looking for, like, a Sunday afternoon game that you can buy for $5, it's a totally competent bargain bin game with way above average acting. Like the performances and the facial capture technology, that stuff is all like fantastic actually. Like the actors that they got in that game are some of the best I've seen in a video game, and I don't think that the bar is very high, but there are a lot of like laugh out loud moments. Is that what most Lost Planet fans were looking for? Absolutely not. But, you know, just looking at it as its own standalone thing, it's got its merits, and like the gameplay as well, it is generic, and it definitely has the same issue that a lot of, what I think, a lot of shooters from that PS3 era had, which is that, it's too long. And you spend too much time, like every shooting sequence is too long. And it doesn't, like, it's not interesting enough to sustain itself for that long. If it were like a 5-hour game instead of a 10-hour game, I think it would have been pretty satisfying. But it just gets really fatiguing. But like, there, you know, the environments are beautiful. There's like nice vistas. The thing they did with the mech in that game was they wanted to like make it feel like you're like this space trucker who has his rig, and the rig is like this big partner, and like you occasionally get real-time like Skype calls from your wife on Earth, and like that stuff is all actually pretty like compelling, I thought. And like at the best of times, the game almost feels a little like Metroid Prime, because it's lonely and you're exploring this thing through a cockpit, or exploring this planet through a cockpit, and there's like a volcanic area, and there's an ice, I mean it's mostly ice, but so like it has its moments. But anyway, that's my Lost Planet 3 pitch. you're better off playing any number of other games, though.
Isn't that it up there?
This is from a guy who found some enjoyment in Front Mission Evolved. Bosses are awful, but still like the rest of it. Yeah, LP1 and 2 are super quirky. I think LP2, I was talking to my friend on Thursday when we streamed it, but what I think people miss about Capcom games often is that they're very expressive. They give the player lots of ability to for expression through the mechanics. You see it in the grappling hook in Lost Planet 2. It's this very open-ended system. You know, a lot of Western games, like the Arkham games, they have a grappling hook that's basically a scripted feature, where it's like, oh, well, it means you can climb the buildings that we want to let you climb. But in Lost Planet, the grappling hook is like, you can shoot a grappling hook and it will attach to any surface, or it will make a human enemy stagger, and it will detonate a grenade. And there's like all these, like, you can do it whenever you want, and the results will vary each time, but it's like, it's kind of up to the player to discover what you can do with it, and you can use it in ways that the developer didn't even plan for, and that's like the Capcom special right there. That's the same thing they do in Devil May Cry or Street Fighter. They just make they make a bunch of toys, and it's up to you to figure out what they do.
To the right, maybe? Isn't that it up there?
My opinion, Vanquish, oh man, we're talking Vanquish, is the best single-player third-person shooter ever. Short, but if really skilled, it just plays like any Platinum game. I never take cover. Binary Domain is also pretty fun. Yeah, it sounds like we have pretty similar taste. I would agree. I would say Vanquish is my favorite single-player third-person shooter. Other than, well, I don't know. Other than Lost Planet 2. Although certainly a big part of my love for Lost Planet 2 is that it's co-opable. I do play through it sometimes on my own though, and I still love it. Binary Domain is also really cool. I like, I'm not big on all those PS3 those PS3 era shooters, but I like that Japanese companies got into it and like put their own spin on it, and some of those are really cool. Binary Domain has some good stuff. I like that game had an international cast and like a sort of realistic approach to language. Like the Japanese characters speak Japanese to each other, and then they speak English to the English-speaking characters. It just, I don't know, it felt like it's rare for games and even movies to like give any deep thought to that kind of stuff. Oops.
I'm scared.
Poor Lyra. Feel Western games focus more on presentation and Japan focuses more on functionality. Yeah, that might be true. I've become wary of making any sweeping statements like that because it's so hard to. As soon as you do, I feel like you think of a million exceptions. But I do think that Japanese games, I guess, tend to sell themselves more on the game system. Whoa. Like the mechanics, and there's a lot of gamers in the States that are looking for an interactive narrative experience. Whoa. I mean, they have those in Japan, like all the visual novel stuff. So I don't. Yeah, again, like I can't. I feel like I can't even say that.
Keep going forward.
Playing another RGG studio right now. Studio game right now, Judgment.
I said
I've heard only good things about Judgment.
Kinda to the right.
Are you finding it good?
You're right near the target. Seems to be a little to the left.
Bulletstorm did look cool. And that's a game that's all about expression, right? I mean, in a goofy way.
Left, I said left.
Oh, she leveled up.
I said go right.
Alright, she's maxed out now.
Shield recovered. To the right, kinda. I think it's behind us. Keep going forward.
So now she's maxed out. She gives
What now?
more precise directions, but not really.
What now?
And Judgment is awesome.
A bit more right.
Yeah,
What now?
I'm a big fan of Devil May Cry. That's another one of my all-time faves. And that's also all about expression and like having it your way. And I feel like Bulletstorm takes a few cues from
A bit more right.
the Devil May Cry Bible. The Devil May Cryble.
Holy moly!
Presentation on mechanics like the grappling hook idea. Yeah. I think that feels like that rings true. It's the idea of having a grappling hook that is a selling point. It's like, and there's a lot of power fantasies in Western games. Whereas I feel like Japanese games traditionally demand that you learn a system, and a lot of I guess what I think of as like a modern typical approach to game design in the West is to be more to cater to the player more. The games want you to succeed ultimately.
I think it's behind
I feel like Ubisoft is sort of the master of that, and I don't think that's bad. I think it's a style that's valid, and sometimes I'm in the mood for that. Sometimes I'm in the mood for a demanding, challenging Japanese game that might even kind of suck until you get a handle on the mechanics. You know what I mean? Bad times await until you've figured it. Because that's that's more like, it feels more like learning a skill, right? Like when you start learning guitar, it kind of sucks. It hurts your fingers. You sound like crap. But there's this reward you get out of it. But does every game have to be that way? Nah. DMC is amazing. I love Platinum games. Astral Chain, maybe my fave. I liked Astral Chain a lot. I feel like among hardcore Platinum / Devil May Cry fans, I saw a lot of tepid reactions to Astral Chain. You know, people didn't like all the downtime stuff where you're just like a beat cop helping people. I thought that stuff was great. It reminded me of Okami. And I like being reminded of Okami.
Something big just showed up. What do we do?
AC Odyssey is just a casual, fun exploration game. But yeah, sometimes I use the term highlights magazine game design. Have you ever? This might be an old person thing, but highlights magazine back in the day. Does anyone remember that? It was just like a kids magazine that had simple activities to occupy kids' time while they were at the doctor's office waiting to be seen, or when the mom just wanted you to be quiet for a while. It'd be connect the dots, or a word hunt, or find 10 differences between these two pictures. Not challenging, just busy work. And sometimes I feel like a lot of modern Western games have a lot of highlights magazine activities. It's find all of the dinguses that are clearly labeled on your map. It's so just go to the place on the map. Yep. It's okay. But it's still that's not really a criticism, because I think that especially if you have a stressful day job, or if games are your relaxation time, then sometimes you just want to like have something tell you achieved something that wasn't, you know, it's like do something easy and then get like a pat on the back for it. So like it's definitely a mood. Astral Chain mechanics and moves and UI colors and many other things are nods to every other PG game they made. Huh. They definitely like reference their other stuff a lot. I feel like I've seen Red Hot Kick come up in at least a couple things from Beautiful Joe.
Holy moly! Kablamo!
That's fine. Rope.
Holy moly!
The one Platinum game I haven't played. Actually, there's a couple. I didn't play the Ninja Turtles game. I only played a few stages of Bayonetta 2. Still haven't played Wonderful 101. But anyway, the one that I really want to play is Infinite Space. It was their first game on the DS. No one talks about it. I've been sitting on a loose copy of it for like a decade. I'm dying of curiosity. It's a good game. Yeah, I heard it was good. It seems intriguing, and I love the original DS, or not the, like the DS Lite. I love that library. It's hard to overstate how extremely hot the DS was in Japan when I lived there. They found a way to penetrate the non-gamer market. Oh, you bought it at launch, Dan? Yeah, I gotta fast track that to the top of my playlist. Problem is that like when I can't stream a game, it becomes harder to prioritize now. I don't know how to stream DS. Oh god, we're still... Well, this might be a botched run. I thought he was dead. I don't know what happened just now. So many cool DS games. Nights in the Nightmare is another one. That's not Platinum, but like just a DS game that was like really creative and what a cool title. Nights in the Nightmare. I think emulation is the only real way to stream DS or an overly complex setup. Yeah, it's like, to me it feels like a catch-22 where like I like to stream on real hardware, and like especially when like it's like part of it is to finally like get through my infinite pile of shame and like play games that I own. It feels kind of silly to like play them via an emulator. But I guess that's a me problem, isn't it? Okay, well that was a botch. I bother with emulation sometimes. Like I said before, I'm not gonna, unless I'm really into it for some reason, I'm probably not gonna pay $150 for an old video game. That, especially, it's like that money's not going to the creators of the game. And these market values often feel very arbitrary. Sometimes it feels justified. I feel like I try to have a rule that anything that I've deemed worth emulating, if they re-release it, I gotta support it. Like No More Heroes 1 and 2, I was playing on Dolphin, and then like a month later, they released it for Switch, and I bought it day one. If they ever re-release Metroid Another M, on a console that you can play with a normal controller, like Switch.
What now?
I will support it day one. I've been going to bat for another M. Or, not another M, other M. Sorry, my friend is called another M. Not against it for old games, especially stuff like Bulk Slash.
Should I put up some flowers?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Holy moly!
it's definitely the better alternative to letting games die in obscurity. No contest. God, I can't believe I'm struggling with this guy. It's like the easiest boss in the entire game.
Shield recovered.
Wait.
Fire blaster.
Wish Capcom could re-release TVC. Yeah, if only. That's another one where it's like, man, that really belonged on not a Wii. I had the arcade stick where you had to tether it to the Wii remote. Caveman tech.
Lasers.
What about TVC if they put Samurai Pizza Cats in it? Oh, is that a Tatsunoko thing? This guy is hurting me in bad. Does he come back? Oh, yeah. Oh!
Holy moly!
Hey! Oh!
We crashed. You're stupid.
It's not going well. Whoop.
Lasers. Holy moly!
Man, still.
Kablamo!
Lost. Whoa.
Holy moly!
Lost something.
Shield recovered.
Wii was a product of its time, but aged so poorly. I wish I could get many games off it on HD systems. Yeah, yeah, more than any other system, that's the one where I feel like emulation is justified, because there's a lot of games that are stuck on there and that are better off just being able to play with like a normal controller. I cannot stand the fact that the Wiimote use disposable batteries. I don't know what it is, but
Holy moly!
I
Holy moly!
I have low tolerance for disposable batteries in my life anymore. Only in devices that have like an extremely long battery life, like a TV remote.
Holy moly!
The Wiimote, I felt like it was out of batteries every time I played Wii. And yeah, it feels pretty clunky. Yeah, and you have to tether. All the peripheral controllers had to be tethered to the battery-operated Wiimote. It's just not an ideal experience.
We crashed. I want to go home.
Guys, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
That's a wrap.
This fight is too unpredictable for me. Alright. We can do this. We just have to be awesome. It's your typical Sega demand. Whoa. You must play awesomely. Whoa. Wish these lock-on missiles did a little more damage.
They got launched! You can do it!
Thank you, Lyra.
What now? You can do it!
God, it's just like taking so little health.
Lasers!
God, that was close.
Hey, wake up!
Oh well. All right, one more try.
Yes! Gotta take a
Switch to me is an amazing system. I have so many games for it, and many are either ports of games from this or DC era. Saturn or Dreamcast era? Or feel like this era. Yeah, the Switch is like what they were. I mean, I guess the Wii did well, but the Wii U, I feel like the Switch is really like the Wii U 2.0. The basic concept is not that different from the Wii U, but the execution is so much better that all the it got the groundswell it needed for all this third-party support to come in, and that makes all the difference. I can't believe the third-party support the Switch has. Everything wants to be on Switch because there's a base value add that no one else can compete with just by virtue of the games being portable. People will settle for a technically inferior version of a game to be able to play it on the can or in their hotel room. Or they'll double dip. I think there's probably a lot of double dipping happening on Switch. I just double dipped with Sakuna. That was partly because I wanted Sakuna, the rice game, because I wanted to get the collector's edition. But I was like, it doesn't hurt to have it on Switch. Of course, the first thing I got it on was Steam, and I have a laptop, so it's kind of silly to say. But like, I don't know, the laptop is like not as portable. You can't play it on the can, for one thing. Yeah, Sakuna is by the Astabreed guys, and when I learned that, and I learned that it's a two-person team, I was just blown away, because Sakuna feels, to me, it feels like a big game. I didn't realize that it was a small, like, like budget title. Dang it.
Holy moly!
Alright, I'll take that.
We crashed!
This is the critical moment of the stage, I realize now. Besides the final boss.
They got bombs!
God. I would love to learn once and for all how these lock-on missiles actually work. Because sometimes, like, they're really inconsistent with how much damage they do, and I think it's because their lock-on feature is just like really temperamental.
Holy moly!
Alright. Yeah, double dip a lot. I consider the Switch part of the same gen as the Wii U. It's roughly the same power. And just look at how many games were ported from Wii U to Switch. Yeah, you're right. It's like a redo. It's like, well, that didn't work, but we don't need to change that much.
Holy moly!
Man, I still have much to learn. 6th gen. Never liked the debate of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 generation numbers, and especially never liked the idea based on power. I guess I'm not really privy to any of that.
Holy moly!
I never really internalized like that, like what generation was which. I mean, I generally know, like, yeah, we had the Genesis and the SNES and the TurboGrafx, and that was a thing. And then the PS1, the Saturn, N64 were a thing. Oh, that went better. Oh, I got the cramp. Streamer's cramp. Yep. God.
What? No! You're stupid!
Like, there's obviously more to how these lock-on missiles work than I've deduced on my 30 playthroughs. There we go.
Chris.
Let's go ahead and skip that. That, by the way, I didn't shout them out before, but that's Luzine as Reason Lavia, and then Jonathan Boncher, also known as Two Across, as the protagonist, Chris Dooley. Jonathan and I have been playing through Kingdom Hearts together on this channel on Tuesdays, and we will be back with that tomorrow. And he's showing me the ropes because I've never played through it before. Lock-on feels so Zoe-like, or should I say Zoe lock-on feels so BS, so bulk slash. Yeah. I think they're probably both channeling Macross or something.
Gee, it's all so sad. I could write a song about this, but I don't think it would bring a smile to a single face.
Oh.
With the threat of the Spätfest extinguished, the United Planetary Federation...
And once again, shout out to Aaron Leaf, who provided the voice for Lyra. You can check her out on Twitter. I'm going to put that in the chat.
Alois Gardner was discovered following a suicide attempt in his private quarters, while Gehalt, his trusted confidant, was shot dead by a Federation special unit.
And once again, if you've just tuned in, or if you missed the previous playthrough, everything you're seeing right now, or everything you're hearing right now over this FMV is placeholder. This is just a proof of concept that we have figured out how to
there will be trouble.
replace the audio track for the FMVs.
We are not gonna play with
So
you anymore.
this acting and the music is not what we're actually going to use.
If
Project
anyone
Nimbus is also kind of fun and flat.
I'll
Yeah, I picked that
always
up
come to your
on
rescue,
PS4. That's a cool
Lizzie.
game.
I swear it.
Yeah, I wish Aaron the best in trying to get a foothold in the voice acting industry. If anyone out there is looking for a voice
I
actor,
read you all the poetry you want.
hit me up or hit her up. And that's Lira Hart, everybody. So that we have now shown 5 of the 7 navigators in bulk slash, and we're probably going to take a bit more time with the next one because we saw some feedback that the the Shiro show is getting a little too saturated with bulk slash stuff, so we thought we'd let that breathe a little bit. They've been really cool about letting us debut every single Navigator on their show. So yeah, we'll take a few more weeks until the next one, and that will give us time to hunker down and actually finish. Well, I don't know if we'll be done next time we debut a Navigator, but it'll give us time to keep working on this project.
皆さんお待たせ、みんなのアイドルリラハートよ、みんな集まれ。
ちょっとやりすぎじゃないか。ちょっとあんた、リラを独り占めはないんじゃない？そんな。
Suddenly have the urge to play Radiant Silvergun. This might have been the same studio, I don't know, that did the animation, I don't know, but power to you. That's a good one. It's hard. I've never even come close to beating it, but it's a good one. Ah!
What name do you go
Alright,
by?
last time we did a normal name, now I'm gonna do the dirty word that has a different reaction. And that's gonna do it. I think I'm gonna close it out here. That's Lira Hart. Hope you guys liked it. I'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern, so just in, what is that, 2.5 hours? With something else, just a normal stream. That's my normal streaming time. This has been a bonus, bulk slash bonus. So see y'all then. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, Yikaruga made me hate life too. I couldn't make, like, my brain is just not properly wired for the basic challenge of Yikaruga switching back and forth. Yep, so I'll be back tonight at 8 Eastern. Bye, everybody.